Hi everybody, welcome to our Sunday tasting. Waiting to see who's coming online. Just make sure the sound's okay. You give me the thumbs up, Kirk? Okay, we're live from Barren Ridge. We're here for a Mother's Day tasting. Happy Mother's Day to everyone out there. We're glad you're joining us. I'm going to be checking to see who shows up on another computer, so I might look down a few times. I'm sorry, it was very calm. Now it's windy, so you see it's a beautiful day. And I want to wish all the mothers, all the future mothers, all the women out there, thanks for always taking care of us males, because we need a lot of help and we love you guys. So happy Mother's Day to all the women out there, and hope everybody's safe and well and had a good week. And we're going to be tasting Harmony and Rosé today. So two of our wines. Rosé I'll talk about, and Harmony is our fruity white blend. So let me just see who's online. Okay, hoping to see some people joining in here. Hi Leslie, hi Susan. My sister's on there, that's very nice. Phil Johnson, Cheryl Deacon McKay. Wow, it's all pretty much family. Phil, you can be family today. Tim Belton, hi Tim. It's nice to have so many dialogues with you. Hope you all are well. I'm glad it sounds okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about family history. First, I'll say Happy Mother's Day to my mother. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I love you very much, and we all do. A lot of people miss you here, so hope you're doing well at home. Hope you're feeling well, and wish you all the best with everything. Okay. And thank you for doing such a good job at Barren Ridge. You were very integral in getting this place started and are kind of the face for a long time, always in the tasting room, so people always say hi to you. So I'm sure everybody in the Barren Ridge community would like to say hello to Shelby. So hi Shelby, happy Mother's Day. And I want to talk a little bit about my my grandmother, Audrey Blackford Higgs. So this is family history, and I guess it's appropriate on Mother's Day, but she was a real strong character in Stanton. And I'm sorry, Angela Higgs, my wife, put together a lot of notes. She's been delving into our family history, and I hope it's not too dull for people, but some of it's pretty interesting, and it's the reason we're all here. So we appreciate all the mothers out there that have made all this possible, and made my life possible, and made all your lives possible. So Audrey, she founded the first women's club in Stanton, and she was very liberal and campaigned for liberal politicians. There's some good stories that you could ask my dad about. My dad went to a couple rallies with her, and I think he wanted to take out the competition in a different way, and his mom had to tell him that's not the way to do it. She was a census worker and loved her neighborhood so much, and met so many lovely people. She really became part of the community. She fought against racial injustice, and she helped smuggle children out of the local mental hospital, and they managed to kind of start their own underground railroad to get orphans that were put into the mental institution because they didn't have anywhere else to put them. And they smuggled them out of Stanton and eventually into Ohio and even out to California with friends and relatives. So there's a lot of stories about my grandmother, but she was a real strong woman, and she also raised 5 children to become doctors, businessmen, my father an engineer, and politically interested in good human beings. So that's no easy task, but she was a great woman, and we named our salle de fête, we named our banquet room upstairs after her. So she was a great human being. And Emma, my great grandmother, she was a very strong woman too. She came over from Germany, and that's our connection to the to Johann Sebastian Bach, the Bach family. They changed their name to Bach when they came here, and she was a strong woman, and she raised 3 kids from a first marriage and 8 kids from a second marriage, so raised 11 kids. Some of them were sick, and she helped them all survive. So that's the matriarchal side of our family, and they were really strong, so they enabled us to be here, and now we're on this beautiful property. My mom was a big part of creating this, so thanks, Mom. And as you see, the vineyards behind us, Allegheny Mountains, Betsy Bell and Mary Gray, so facing Stanton to the west. And there's the beautiful vineyard. Got a little bit of frost this morning, hopefully not too bad. We might not know for a couple days. We were out here looking at it at 5 in the morning, so we'll see. And it's going to be cold, so keep your fingers crossed for a couple more days. And we'll get on to the tasting, because that's the interesting part for everybody. Let's see if anyone else has checked in. Hi, Robin. Glad you're out there, Robin. Happy Mother's Day. Pastor April Cranford. Friends joining in from Fishersville. Thanks for joining us. I think I talked to you just recently, maybe yesterday. So thanks everybody for checking in, and we'll continue to keep an eye on who's out there. So now we're going to start our tasting. I think a lot of people are probably with their families right now, so maybe not so many people online, but we're going to have some fun right now. We're going to start with our 2018 Rosé. 2018 Rosé. Beautiful color. Made of 2 different varietals, Cabernet Franc and Merlot. And 50% of the Merlot is processed as we would a white wine. So it's put directly into the press and just pressed, and the juice goes into a tank, and it's fairly clear, very light, certainly not this color. And the other 50% comes from Cabernet Franc and Merlot that were gently crushed and processed like a red wine, where we pull off some of the wine after a certain number of hours of maceration to achieve the color we want and the flavors that we want, to extract what we want. I believe this one was 10 to 12 hours, and that was Cabernet Franc and Merlot. So when you first process grapes, even red grapes, the juice is absolutely clear, and then they extract their color during the time of maceration, and that's how you get a beautiful rosé like this. So here's the rosé in the glass. You know, there's some copper reflections and a little bit of an orange color, but a very beautiful kind of light red color. So kind of more of a profound rosé than some other ones you might find around Virginia or in southern France, for instance. And we'll just move on to the tasting. First nose. Get a lot of freshness. You often get strawberry with this wine, and get a little bit of citrus zest, a little bit of lemon peel. Smells very peppery, fruity, delicious. It smells like it's fresh, so there's probably good acidity in there. And we'll take a little swirl. Yeah, and you get more aromas coming out. You get some peach notes, and you get something like a little bit of licorice even. So there's some nice complexity in there, and maybe even a touch of exotic fruits. But it smells like a nice rosé. So let's take a little taste. So you have some nice strawberry and fresh red fruit notes right up front in the wine. Very juicy acidity, makes your mouth water. So it's a wine that's nicely balanced between fruit and acidity, so it can go with a lot of different kinds of foods. It's really peppery on the mid palate, so some nice white pepper and even black pepper. Tastes really good, very clean, very refreshing. really the quintessential summertime wine. I included some tasting notes, which I'll show you on screen here. So there we have Harmony and Rosé. I sent these out on Facebook and also on Instagram, so you can take a look. And like I noted on here, red fruit. There's a little bit of burnt orange, which lends a really kind of interesting note to the wine. And it's a nice crispy and minerally finish. Lots of fresh citrus will really clean your palate well and just really taste good. And this type of wine, rosé, I said it's really a summertime, quintessential summertime wine. But more and more people drink it all year round because it goes so well with food. It goes well with any kind of charcuterie. Lots of different vegetables, light meats. It tastes good with grilled food, so barbecue, of course. It'll cut through spicy food pretty well, and even like grilled fish. I think I mentioned sea bass stuffed with fennel, something like that would be delicious. And just try rosé at different times. Try it with different foods, and the food's always going to push the rosé in different directions. It's going to taste differently, but it's pleasant to sip on its own, and it just tastes delicious, and it'll quench your thirst. So becoming more and more popular. And we have a different rosé. We only have 5 cases of this rosé left, so we'll be moving on to a new year, the 2019, relatively soon. So get this while you can, and then you can taste the difference between this one and the 2019, which we made differently, which I'll save for a future wine tasting. And now we're going to move on to Harmony, but I'm going to show you a photo first. So that's my mom. Like I said, happy Mother's Day. And happy Mother's Day to all you women out there. This is really a celebration of women for all that you do, for all you women that want to have kids, and every woman lends something to the planet. We're really in tune with nature here, so Mother Nature is very important. And so just say happy Mother's Day one more time. And now we'll move back to the tasting. So there's the tasting sheet for Harmony 2018. That's a blend. So it's a blend of 5 different varietals: Petit Manseng, Viognier, Vidal Blanc, Chardonnay, and Sauvignon Blanc. And here I am back. So it has over 40% of Petit Manseng, so that's one of the real principal components of this wine. And Petit Manseng is a grape that's grown in Jurançon, primarily. In southwestern France, and it can be made dry or kind of like a late harvest wine. And in the Manseng family, there's also a Gros Manseng, which means big grapes, and Petit is obviously smaller grapes. Petit Manseng is the more qualitative of the two, and Tony Wolfe, I think, is responsible for introducing a Petit Manseng in Virginia. Tony Wolfe runs the viticulture program at Virginia Tech. I'm sorry I didn't look up his credentials before we started here. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, but he's responsible for bringing the grape to Virginia, and he's a real resource here for all of us. We have calls every week to understand what we're doing with viticulture and winemaking and everything else. So the Virginia wine industry is really good about sharing information, and Tony Wolfe has been integral in improving the quality of wine production here in Virginia, as was his predecessor, Bruce Zachlin. So hello to you two. You're probably not out there, but hello anyway. So now we're going to move on to Harmony. So beautiful golden color, kind of a light gold color. Looks like a little heavier weight in a glass than something like a Riesling. You can kind of pair foods similar to Riesling and Traminette and Gewürztraminer with Harmony. This is made to be a fruity wine, can be enjoyed by itself, certainly good on the patio. Has just a touch of a residual sugar, so it's basically just round and pleasant to drink. And that little extra weight really helps with spicy foods. And I'll talk about something we made last night, but let's move on to the tasting. So again, very, very fresh on the nose. Some citrus, and when you begin to swirl the glass, the more profound aromas come out because Petit Manseng, Viognier, and some of the components are very aromatic. So you get some lovely fruity notes. You get some exotic fruits, pineapple, kind of a candied pineapple, pear, stone fruits, peach. There's a nice underlying spiciness. And there's also citrus in there, so there's some nice complexity to this wine. And let's take a little sip. I feel like I'm moving quicker than normal. I usually take 20 minutes. I took an hour last week with our actor from the Blackfriars, Benjamin Reed, so we had a real nice tasting last week. Sorry, I step off the camera when I'm letting air into the wine in my mouth just because it's an unpleasant noise, so you don't need to hear that. But delicious wine. Really just a touch of sweetness up front, but surrounded by acidity that keeps the wine balanced, so it's not just a big fruity wine. The acidity really balances it out, so it has multiple facets and components to it. You get a little bit of minerality. You got a lot of the same fruits that I talked about before, and you get some really clear spicy notes like cinnamon. It stays long on the palate. You get some interesting flavors that arrive later, like some candied fruits and a little bit of juicy orange. So it's actually quite a good food wine on its own. Has enough acidity to pair with food. You can, as I mentioned, you can pair it with sweet foods and also spicy foods. So when I say sweet, not too sweet, but if you're preparing something with coconut milk, that would be very good. Anything exotic from the East, Thai cuisine, Thai shrimp with lemongrass and coriander, things like that, and Indian food, Vietnamese food, any of that stuff. The weight of this wine and its natural fruitiness is going to tone down and marry really well with some of the spices. Last night we paired it with a yellowfin tuna loin, which we roasted on the grill with coriander seeds and various spices, and we made a reduction with this wine with Harmony, and we reduced it with Harmony and a little bit of orange juice and some other spices. If anyone's interested, you can write in for the recipe, but it was absolutely delicious, and it paired very well with Harmony and also Traminette. So we tried it with both, and it really brought out the exotic fruit flavors in these wines and just tasted great. And let's see if I added, I'm sorry I didn't add a photo. I had a photo of that, so apologize for that. Well, you can see it on my tasting sheet down here if you're seeing this live. This is the tuna loin we prepared. Still, a touch rare in the middle, and just delicious spiciness that kind of played with the Harmony as we had a lovely dinner. So here I am again. Feel like I had something else to say, so I'm going to check and see if any of you guys are writing in any questions. Hi Larry, I see you're out there. Let me go back. Hi Larry, thanks for checking in. We got the Southern families out there. They're enjoying a glass of Touriga and shrimp and grits. How very Southern of you. So Larry and Vanessa, Christy Paxson. We would love to have you soon, especially when we're open, but thanks for joining us for our virtual tastings. They're pretty fun. Tim, that's your favorite wine. That's great to hear. Yeah, Ramon's praying for us with the frost. So we definitely had a little bit of damage. It was below freezing last night, but the dew point was at 25, and we got down to maybe 30. So a lot of the frost didn't appear. There was just a little bit out there this morning. So it's the real risk is when the dew point actually crosses the temperature, and that's when you get precipitation on the vines and everywhere else, and that's the real risk. So we have maybe 2 more days, maybe Monday and Tuesday. There's another risk of a freeze, and then hopefully we move on and can move on with our lives and the activity we need to do in the vineyard to keep making good wines. Okay, so that was our tasting for today, for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. I see Angela over there. Hi, Angela. She helped us, like I said, prepare some of these notes, which got blown off right before we started. So we may talk about it a little more in the future, but we're going to have another tasting next Sunday. I haven't even decided what we're doing yet, but we're going to come up with something good. And we're going to make an announcement tomorrow about our slow plans for reopening. So we're going to be very cautious and make sure, the health and safety of everybody is of the utmost importance. So we're going to be sending out an email and also posting on social media our plans for a very quiet reopening, which will probably start on Friday. So we're waiting to hear a little bit more and get some more direction on that, but we'll let you know. And I'm going to close out today just by saying thanks for all the support over all this time. You guys picked up a lot of Mother's Day packages, so thanks for doing that. Some of you guys watched some of the Shakespeare performances during the Renaissance season. We watched one last night, Henry IV, Part 1. It was fantastic, and we're glad some of you are getting to know Shakespeare or just taking part in some of their virtual offerings. And we both appreciate the help very much. And you'll probably be seeing hopefully some more characters, some more actors eventually here. So we'll see about that. And I'm just going to let you have a nice shot of the vineyard. Keep your fingers crossed from us, and let us know what you need. And thank you so much for everything. And God bless you all. We love you all. We love our community. And happy Mother's Day, like I said, to all you women out there. So we're going to do a little outro video, which Kirk Fox put together for us, our technological correspondent. He's been great. He's been helping us with a lot of technological initiatives, and he's staring right at me right now. And we're going to go to the outro video. So have a beautiful week. We'll be in touch. Have a beautiful Sunday evening, and see you next week. Talk to you soon. Here's the video. Bye-bye. Should I stop streaming or just let it go? All right, goodbye everybody. That was our outro video. So see you next time. Be well. Take care. Bye-bye.